Looking for a way to support the channel? Check out the official MTG Goldfish playmats like Fatal Scoops at mtggoldfishmerch.com/YouTube. Use the coupon code YouTube for 5% off. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here at Instant Deck Tech Land, and today, it's been a while, but we are heading into the world of Pauper to talk about a really sweet deck, Dimir Ratlock, a deck that's basically looking to make it so your opponent can't play Magic, one of my favorite things, by making it so your opponent just can't draw cards anymore. That's the plan of the deck, and this one comes to us from Christian Ogbod, who took it to a top 8 finish in a Pauper 5K event over in Indonesia. 5K Pauper event, so a huge Pauper event. So congratulations to Ogbod on a really sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Dimir Ratlock for Pauper. If you enjoyed this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Dimir Ratlock starts off with Chittering Rats. This is the rat in our Ratlock, and Chittering Rats, one of the most obnoxious cards to play against. It's just an innocent little 2/2 for 3, but when it comes into play, target opponent has to put a card from their hand on top of their library. So the idea of this isn't just to use Chittering Rats to disrupt our opponent, but turn this into a lock piece. And the power of Chittering Rats is, in many ways, putting a card on top of the deck is actually more devastating than discarding the card. Because when you play, let's say, Ravenous Rats, and your opponent just has to discard a card, they get to draw a new card. They discard their worst card, draw a new card the next turn. Chittering Rats makes your opponent put presumably their worst card back on their deck, so then they have to draw it again. And if we could keep having Chittering Rats enter their battlefield, we can make it so our opponent is just drawing that same bad card over and over and over again until they decide that they hate Pauper, they hate Magic, and concede the game, which is what we're going for. Not really, not hate Magic, but you know what I'm saying. So step 1 is Chittering Rats, step 2 is Ghostly Flicker, which is pretty straightforward. Exiles 2 artifacts, creatures, or lands, returns them to the battlefield. So we have a Chittering Rats, we Ghostly Flicker Chittering Rats, we get another use of the enter the battlefield trigger. However, that's only one extra use. The real combo is Archaeomancer. So Archaeomancer comes into play, returns an instant or sorcery from our graveyard to our hand. So the plan here is, if we have Chittering Rats, we can Ghostly Flicker it, make our opponent put their card back on top of their deck. Opponent's getting a little bit annoyed. Then we can Archaeomancer to get back Ghostly Flicker, which we could use to flicker Chittering Rats and Archaeomancer. So opponent, getting a little more annoyed, has to put that card back on top of their deck again. We get back our Archaeomancer, which gives back Ghostly Flicker. So every single turn, we could just keep doing this. For 3 mana, flicker it, flicker it, flicker it, opponent, card back, drawing it again, card back, drawing it again. Basically just a never-ending process of annoyance, and in between, we can beat down with our Archaeomancer, with our Chittering Rats, kill our opponent. We also have a bunch of cards that draw us cards when they enter the battlefield. 4 Seagate Oracle, 3 Muldrifters. So these cards help us find our Rats, find our Ghostly Flicker. They can also do some neat tricks with the combo. If we don't have Chittering Rats, or if we need to refill our hand, we can Ghostly Flicker, Muldrifter, let's say, and Archaeomancer to draw a couple cards, get back our Ghostly Flicker, do that again every turn. If we get up to 6 mana, we can actually Ghostly Flicker Rats to annoy our opponent and make them put a card back along with Archaeomancer, and then use it to Muldrifter as well to draw 2 cards. So we just have this never-ending loop of Ghostly Flicker value. Thrown to the Black Rose, another card draw creature, the last creature of the deck. Monarchy is really popular in Pauper, so even beyond making ourselves a Monarch, Thrown to the Black Rose is a way we can steal the Monarch from our opponent without getting in damage. While our deck can be amazingly annoying, it doesn't necessarily attack all that well. I guess we have Muldrifter as an evasive threat, but really we got a lot of small creatures that aren't good at attacking. So one of the risks is our opponent can make themselves a Monarch, and then if they're drawing 2 cards each turn, turn, putting one card back on their deck doesn't actually lock them out of the game because they're still getting one fresh card each turn. So they kind of get around our lock, but with Thorn of the Black Rose, we can just flicker that, steal the monarchy again, make sure our opponent is not drawing 2 cards, not getting a fresh card with our ratlock. Otherwise, Reaping the Graves, Unearth, ways to get creatures back from the graveyard. Basically, if our Rats dies, our Chaomancer dies, these cards give us ways to get them back, reassemble the combo, keep going. Otherwise, we're basically like a blue-black control deck, preordained to set things up for the early game. A bunch of removal options, Disfigure, Chainer's Edict, Doomblade, Echoing Decay, tons of removal for all situations. Counterspell just counters anything for 2 mana. Evankar's Justice is basically a Pauper version of Pyroclasm, a little bit more expensive, also damages Player Zone, has buyback, so this is another finisher in the late game. If we get to 7 mana, we can just cast this every turn, hit our opponent for 2, we're kind of wrathing the board, but whatever, if we have them hard locked out of the game, that's fine. Then we have Mana Base, Dimir Aqueduct, Dismal Backwater as dual lands, a bunch of utility lands, 1 cycling land, a Bajuka Bog for graveyards, Mortuary Wire, another way to get back our combo pieces from the graveyard, Radiant Fountain for some life gain, a bunch of basics. In the sideboard, Curse of the Bloody Tome gives us a backup win condition. We can just lock our opponent out of the game and then slowly mill them out little by little with all of our removal. Then we have Duress in Hydroblast, Duress to fight through control decks, counterspell decks, Hydroblast for mono red in particular. Then a bunch of removal options. Stormbound Guys, Stinkweed Imp, they don't look like removal, but they're flying blockers for Delver, which basically makes them into removal. Their job is to block Delver of Secrets and other flying threats. Another Evankar's Justice, Shrivel and deal with tokens, Nile Spellbound for more graveyard hate, and that is Dimir Ratlock for Pauper. And that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.